Welcome to the Porn Reboot podcast, where you get practical tips to gaining control over your porn or sex addiction. We help ambitious men end their out-of-control sexual behavior with pornography, sex, and masturbation so that you can maximize your life, perform at your potential, and remain in control in the driver's seat, which is where you have to be in order to gain or maintain the success you want in life. I'm your host, J.K. Amazi, certified sex and porn addiction recovery coach. Welcome to the episode. At Porn Reboot, we believe that compulsive sexual behavior needs to be tackled in a holistic way. We address not just your habits, but any traumatic events that have impacted you in your life. We also address co-occurring disorders, addictions, and habits, as well as limiting beliefs. So in order to best serve our clients, we've curated and brought together some of the best professionals in their fields to coach and support you through your reboot journey. In certain episodes, we'll be sharing some excerpts from our coaches' sessions, and I hope that you find these helpful.
So, hey everyone, I have here Slater. He is a brother from the implementation program, and he's willing to share his experience on his reboot journey so far. So, brother, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came across the reboot program?
Well, I came across the Reboot program on, I think it was a Facebook ad that I saw, but I decided to join. At that point in my life, it was just a couple of months after my wife had passed away. And I knew at that point I needed some additional support to get control of myself and, be sober-minded in what I was doing and trying to accomplish. And I was just out there. I felt alone. And the implementation program gave me a group of, family to help me, help support me through my journey.
Nice. And no, brother, I remember you came in just like looking for help. And if it's like the loss of your wife, right? It was recent. So coming into the program, and first of all, thank you for sharing that. How did you navigate the initial stages of the reboot first? How was it for you?
It was difficult for me at first. Being vulnerable was a new concept for me. Not that I hadn't been vulnerable before, but I was very selective who I was vulnerable with. And just coming into a group of a bunch of people I didn't know who didn't know me. And it was just kind of expected that you would open up and be yourself and, get the help was very difficult for me. And I had to wrestle a lot in my mind, especially with like the first tool was get a rubber band. And I'm like, okay, this is silly. But once I actually did it, then I started to see how things started to shift in my mind. And at that point, I started to navigate, like I, got some accountability partners. I have like 3 of them now, and just started to go forward with the program. I said, the least I could do is give it a shot. I paid for it, so I might as well just give it my all. And if it doesn't work, then I know it doesn't work. But if it does work, then I'll feel silly for waiting this.
It's either it's not going to work or it's going to work, right? Or you make it work.
For sure.
So that's good, brother. I appreciate the honesty there. And so coming in, like, I know you mentioned a couple of things already, like the rubber band, right? It's like, that's a weird concept. So what did you implement a lot in the early stages or in the early stages of your reboot that was helping you? What was that?
The main one that I still use is the feeling exercise. Being able to sit with those feelings and, be curious about what's happening with me and dialoguing about that has been a game changer for me, I think, forever. That's probably been the most impactful tool that I've used.
Nice. That was one of the tools that I enjoyed as well, the feelings exercise. It was I didn't know you could get that deep into it. It's just like all feelings, right? We analyze that too much. And then when we sit with it, it's like, oh, it's a different game. So that's a really great tool. And so having developed that skill set and still use it to this day, how has it improved your life?
It's allowed me to declutter the inside. So instead of bottling everything up or just trying to push past it or trying to just force my way forward, it's allowed me to really give space to care for myself and to really, with that curiosity, dig deep, declutter, sort things out, and be able to think clearly. So it's really cleared my mind. And I think one of the biggest things since being in the program, I started a new business. I did a career change and it's going really well right now. I attribute that to a very clear and sober mind.
Mm, nice. So as a result of just having staying off your behavior versus now has allowed you to just have more of, I guess you found like I want to say a passion, right? But a drive to continue something that's just doing things differently, right? I feel like that's what you did.
Yeah, it was a whole rewiring for me to be that vulnerable with myself even and to admit what I wanted and what I didn't want. And I think I lived most of my life trying to please other people.
Hmm.
And the feelings exercise really helped me to discover what I wanted and where I wanted to be. And that's very helpful.
That's right. Hell yeah, man. So having you like, I feel like you have this new energy and profound, like just for life, just a different outlook. How has
Oh,
it
yeah, man.
impacted like others around you? Like, how has that been?
I guess I can say I'm more attentive. I'm also a pastor.
Uh-huh.
And so I can connect better with the people that are around me and I can hear them and not just be ready to respond, but to actually listen
Mm.
and sit with them in whatever they're going through at that moment. So I think empathy has grown in me, real care and real attentiveness.
Wow. And that's a man, that's a superpower when you get to that stage.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and being able to hold a space for others, it requires a level of like presence and also just like you said, right? I already have the answer. I know what to say, or in this case, I know what
Yeah,
Bible verse to quote you, and then disregard your
right.
emotions. And that's kind of yeah, I've
Exactly.
been there, man. I've been there. Like I know exactly what you're talking about. So that is a different like overall impact on people. Like, oh, yeah, perhaps you had the right answer, but just the fact that you just listen and then they've sometimes just figured out on their
Exactly.
right? They're like, oh yeah, I know what to do. But
Yes.
and that's I feel like it's a lost art sometimes. It's just because we're so used to we're self-centered, right? And this behavior, it's a selfish one, isn't it? It's all about us.
Yeah.
So that's good, brother. So what other huge wins that and you're still obviously still rebooting? What else has impacted your life positively?
Besides the business booming, like I think confidence is major. Even when like starting the business, having to like promote myself and put myself out there and meet people and talk with people and not be afraid, that has done wonders for me in that area of confidence. And so I'm very grateful for that. And I can also see that I was able to make some really big decisions with a clear mind. So it's wins all around. I guess I can say I almost feel like a kid again
Mm,
because I feel like so much was taken away from me as a child and having to grow up so fast and not really develop properly. I feel like I'm taking all of that time back and I actually have more time, even though my schedule is very hectic. I find that I have more time for myself. I have more time for other people. I have more time to dedicate to my work, to all that I'm doing. I'm more organized and organization is a big deal. My wife was very organized and she was trying to help me come along, but I think now what she was trying to get me to understand, I see it a lot clearer now. And so I appreciate being organized, being free, being
yeah.
sober, being like just clear and there present.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's I like what you said. Like I taking back that time that I like you didn't even
So,
we just move on, right? We just have to survive. We were like, that's so like a left brain thing, like, or is it right?
yeah,
One of those, the red or left or right one, right? That we just say, hey, we cannot handle these emotions right now. We gotta work, we gotta do this, right? We just can't stop and heal. And that's just because
right.
that's how we're conditioned, right? Hustle, hustle. So, but now that you're taking the time, I seen that gets you like of a it's like you have a second life almost, right? A second chance,
Yeah,
just doing what you want
it feels like that.
and like you said, like your schedule is still like booked, but it's more like what you want, right? It's not being because you're not just there living, right? It's not because oh I have to do this because I'm waiting till I die, basically, right? But now it's like
Yeah,
I know it sounds crass, but it's true, right? Some people live that way. It's just like, hey, I'm just wake up every day. My purpose is just to survive for the day. And the other coin of that is, hey, I get to live and I get to show like the world who I am. And it just bring that
yeah,
presence, man, that energy. I feel like people need that. So that's beautiful, brother. Thank you for sharing that. And
Yes, sir.
so have you attended any of like the live coaching calls, like Eastman and Milano or Rankin?
Yes, I've attended some of all of them.
Some,
Yeah, like my schedule is so like
yeah.
hectic, and the calls are like in the middle of the day most of
Oh,
the
that's
time.
right. That is true.
But when I've had opportunity to be on, I've been in each of the coaching sessions.
And have you applied any of their tools or concepts? Like I know Dr. Eastman has
Oh
the
yeah,
name, validate, feel, right? Have you used that?
yeah. Yes, I have. And the questions I was able to ask her in live session, she would clarify things for me. Like, okay, name, validate, feel, but that could get real toxic real quick. And, she helped me like really say, no, 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 it's not about wallowing in it. It's really about letting yourself process it. And so there's this other tool, I'm forgetting what it's called right now, that Dr. Eastman had given us like this document for about like going high or low, like emotionally, like where you are on this like spectrum.
Like a window of tolerance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
window of tolerance. That's what it's
yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that it's like it unlocked my brain and some kind of understanding,
Mhm.
and it just has been uphill from there.
Nice. Yeah, I knew like you were applying some of that because of like the way you're kind of showing up and the way you were speaking about emotions too. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's true, right? Like we could blow a fuse, if you will, and
Hmm.
just get lost in the thought, right? Because we just like
Yeah.
overwhelmed ourselves. So what's like that sweet spot and where it's not
Yeah.
too much tension, but it's bearable enough or a little bit uncomfortable enough that we could process it. And
Yeah. She essentially like helped me to understand it's okay to process it. And if it gets too much, it's okay to take a break and go back to it later. Like it doesn't all have to be done right now. And I think that was the biggest thing for me was, all right, if I'm going to do it, I'm on the time clock. We got to get it done right now. And
yeah,
it's like, no, let's slow down for a minute, process it as like your body and your mind want to like deal with it in chunks, then that's okay. And that was also a game changer for me.
hell yeah. No, that's good, man. I love that. And so those are many of like the tools that like the coaches that we have offer. And yeah, I figured like, man, this guy had some Dr. Eastman. He went to a couple of sessions for sure. And
Yeah.
all right, brother. And any other win that you would like to share for the people here?
Yeah, I think that I've become more efficient. I think my pride beforehand would tell me that whatever you do, you just got to bare knuckle it, get it done, and don't worry about how you feel or anything like that. But being in the program has given me space to say, no, you need help. And so there are tools available for you in other ways and embrace those tools. And like one that still helps me for today is like being on like those Sunday calls with Chris when he
Mm.
does Breaking the Cycle. And one of the things I remember from the book that really stuck out to me of my own cycles was something called euphoric recall. And every time I go into that mode in my mind, it's like this loud voice in my head, euphoric recall. It's like, yep, I see exactly where I am and I know how to deal with it. I'm using all of my available tools and resources that's been afforded me in the program. And so I would encourage anyone out there to give it a shot. You've tried everything else anyway. You failed at it anyway. You tried to do it on your own and you couldn't. Get the support that you need, get the help that you need, and change. You can change.
Dang. All right. No, brother, thank you. And I was literally gonna ask you, what would you tell a brother that that's on the fence? But let me take it a step further now. What would you
Yeah.
tell with a brother that's or a person listening to this, right? That's
Yeah.
probably struggling with loss and grief. What would you tell that brother?
Oh man. Yeah, that's what actually prompted me to get into the program because I knew that I needed the additional support. Losing my wife, and we're in our 30s, was devastating. It was very hard for me. And then, to watch her die, she had cancer, was very hard for me. And I figured, because she told me two things before she passed away. She told me, she said, I want you to grieve properly, and then I want you to move on and be happy. And so I would say to anyone who's struggling with loss, give yourself space to grieve and then be happy. And whatever you need to do to get there, that's what you do. And especially for guys who need like this program, I can say that there was like a layering for me with the program and with like counseling, as far as like for the grief, that really was like a well-rounded thing for me to heal, or at least begin that healing process to move forward. And even though like I still miss my wife, it's been less than a year now, I can still say that I'm taking strides, like leaps and bounds every day to remember, to hold space. And one of those things, like the feelings exercise, has opened up creativity. I've been writing poetry now to help me process my grief. It's been like an open journal I've been posting on my Facebook page. So those who are struggling with loss, and get in the program, get that additional support. It's not going to hurt you.
Wow. No, thank you, brother. I love your openness, man. I would say like you really lean into that vulnerability. And it's like that fear that we have, like, oh, what if we get exposed? Like at the end of the day, we could relate to that pain, right? With like fear and loss. In this case, yeah, man, you lost someone like your wife. That's significant. And the matter of fact that you could share that and use it for a positive and perhaps you are inspiring others is like, hey man, you're really living up to that, right? You're really creating that for yourself. So thank you for sharing. And brother, like, thank you. I really appreciate sharing your story. And for those of you listening, hey man, time will only go by. And what are you waiting for? Like this behavior is only going to rob you more and more the longer you wait. So, get your ass in the program and heal, do the healing. And once again, Slater, thank you, brother. And I'll see you in the group, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Porn Reboot podcast. I'll speak to you later on in the week. If you found this episode helpful, here are 4 ways I can help you with your out of control sexual behavior for free. The first way is to grab a free copy of my book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men at elevatedrecovery.org, or visit the link in the description below this episode. The second way is, if you're not sure where to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, if you'd like to spend time with like-minded professionals and business owners who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot group on Facebook. There's a link to join in the description below this episode. The third way is if you need help right now because you have a burning issue, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally or emotionally, you're about to lose your relationship, you want to live up to your potential, be an authentic man, and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving, then click on the link in the description below this episode that says free coaching call. And the fourth way is to leave us a 5-star review if you enjoy this podcast, so that we can reach more men who are struggling in silence and bring back the lessons we learn from coaching them to freedom.